all of the images on the webpage because they all wanted to come out to blue.
Yeah, and this has like a little bit of a teal to it.
That one?
Yeah.
A little bit of green in it.
Hi, Instagram.
Hello, Instagram.
Do we have
TikTok and YouTube?
Do you have sound on OBS? It's the little sound meter moving, the green bar, the audio, the Yeti
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Hello everybody. Thanks for joining us. We got David on stream today.
Yeah, remind me how this goes.
Ta-da! We just kind of hang.
We just
So we're here to talk about the Garrus today. David and I were actually on stream 1 year ago today to talk about the N7, which
I did bring.
we have a sample.
I did.
Nice. We can talk about the fabric, I guess.
Yeah, I also brought it just for sort of fit comparison.
Okay, yeah, it's a good idea because they do fit. People had some questions about this. Anyways, we'll get into it. So this is the Garrus Parka. It's the first time we've made a parka.
Yes.
First time we've made something with this intricate of a collar. So why don't, to start, you walk us through the design a little bit and kind of go through the hood construction,
Yes.
the preparation, how you went about making this.
We'll start right from the one from the beginning. A parka, technically, I mean, there's different technical definitions of it, but like the fashion definition of it right now is basically a hooded jacket that is longer than that goes below the hip. So the Nero is kind of a parka, but so we have maybe technically made parkas before, although in a different technicality we haven't because none of them are fur lined, and that's that's
Fair.
different thing altogether. So anyway, that's obviously besides the point. The point is today is N7 day. It's our Mass Effect. It's the Mass Effect day. I personally really enjoy the fact that they were like, well, there's a day that is, and it's great. It's
Got our own date.
we've got our own day. There's also a Dragon Age Day, which is December 4th. DA. It's a little bit of a stretch.
Okay, because the A and the 4.
So last year with our first Mass Effect product, we launched the N7 jacket for it. That was obvious. Start off with the jacket everybody recognizes, but do our own spin on it.
If you guys don't remember, we still got some of these in stock.
A little different from any of the other N7 jackets that have come around, but it is also sort of the most popular way of adapting the Mass Effect franchise into a product. They use, and it's the most used thing. This year we were talking for a long time about what can we do that's different. We could do another N7 thing, or we could change, or we could do an Andromeda thing, or whatever. But for me, I had this idea, I think pretty early on. A Garrus coat would be awesome. One, because everybody loves Garrus, and two, because it's a challenge. Mostly because of this ridiculous collar.
It is a lot.
Which I think it came out really well. It came out exactly as I wanted it to, and it doesn't look too over the top, which was the concern.
Yeah, especially if you unbutton it like this and take the little front piece that really adds the kind of armor look is removable. It's got 4 snaps. And then it kind of turns a little more into a more standard parka. I mean, it's never going to look like Land's End or something, but we don't want it to.
Right.
We want it to look like that. But if you wear it, there's some photos on the website of David and Emily wearing it open, and it looks a lot more just like a cool blue coat and not like something you would think looks like a character from a video game.
Yeah. Going into it, I knew that we're gonna do a Garrus thing. Obviously, we had to have the collar. We had to have that big this sort of A frame. He's got this huge sort of very top heavy.
This is even way smaller than what it looks like on the game too.
Yeah.
The game, it's just
and it goes way back.
Yeah.
But it's cool looking, and I cannot resist an opportunity to make an enormous oversized collar. That's just my jam. But I had to think about what kind of product can we do a collar of that size for? That's where the idea for the parka came in, because it kind of fit this big, warm, cozy, something that you'd hunker down into.
Bulky, yeah. You slimmed this down a little bit from the first iteration. I think I was the one that said it looks a little bulkier than our typical design.
Yeah, the first prototype was basically a straight cut because I wanted it to feel bigger, but didn't feel Volante, so we tweaked it a little bit back down.
Yeah.
to that end, it's not quite as fitted as our normal stuff. It's got a little bit more space. It's assuming that you're going to be wanting to wear like a sweater underneath it. So it's still got a tailored fit to it, but it's a little bit less so snug as our usual stuff.
Yeah, someone was asking about like, does it fit true to size, or is it, it is actually cut a little bit roomier, I would say, but not so much that it feels like bulky.
Yeah. The sleeves are also a little bit bigger, so you can fit a sweater sleeve underneath it. Like all just a little bit more space.
Yeah. So do we have any questions or anything? Any
Yeah.
from anyone online or?
Stalzer 2002 asks, which is warmer, the Garrus, the Augment C2?
They're probably pretty similar.
They're probably pretty similar. They're constructed the same way. Scooch in.
Are we? Is it on the? You want to move the phones a little bit?
No, I want. No, you're good.
Just hang out with me. It's fine.
Yeah. That's normal. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're pretty comparable. They're constructed the same way. They're the same materials. There are obviously design differences, color differences. The Garrus is a little bit shorter, so sometimes I feel like a length of a jacket, like a longer jacket, feels warmer.
I will say something that this one has that is interesting is the way that this collar is designed here. So if you guys can see this, imagine a jacket with a pretty tall collar in the hood underneath, and then it's got this extra piece around, and that does a really good job of like blocking wind. Like it feels really substantial around your neck. So when you have it zipped up, it almost feels like you're wearing a scarf or like. And that is an effect that you don't really get with the AC2 in quite the same way because it doesn't have like this little top heavier.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more of that sort of bulkiness, which is kind of cozy.
Yeah, it feels cozy, especially when you kind of like have it all the way zipped up and you put the hood up, which I do here. So the hood actually fits down inside this. I dropped my piece off, but the hood actually fits down inside of this piece, and then when you put it on, you still got this like large fabric on the outside, so it's kind of like almost like a double layer, or even I guess a quadruple layer, because you've got 4 layers of material technically.
Yeah.
Between your head and your neck and the wind or the rain or whatever. So it's a cool design. It's yeah. So it's a good question. They are comparable, but definitely not.
I have to assume that the Garrus's armor, like the actual collar, is like part of a spacesuit. Like you just like have like a giant like clear dome that attaches onto it.
It is made out of metal as well, which makes it a little bit easier to design. Probably.
Yeah, no, that's a solid piece. It's just straight. It was a huge challenge for me to like figure out how the collar could sit and stand up.
While we're on that,
yeah,
tell us about the drain hole in the back. Why are you talking about the collar?
Well, I'm gonna get way into that.
So what is going on back here with this guy?
So right here we have a drain, because obviously the seam here comes down, and this is basically a funnel. So if you have your hood up, and Jeremiah was saying there's space there. So if it's actually raining, this is a waterproof jacket, it's not going to go into your coat. It's just going to sit there in that funnel. And I knew that we would have to have a drain at the bottom point. So there's a little bit of drain in the front, and a little bit of drain in the back, so that the water has somewhere to go.
Yeah. So around. David, you're the one moving far away, not me.
Are both
I'm sorry. Yeah. So
Yeah. No, that I was like, I had this as I was designing it. I was like, it's not in the character model, but it's vital for the actual functioning of this product. Otherwise, you end up with this, just like if it's snowing out and all the snow just sits in this and that might help keep it standing. But
yeah, maybe a little bit uncomfortable when it falls on you.
yeah.
Other questions?
Also, any other Mass Effect inspired pieces or characters that you're planning on taking inspiration from?
We've been talking about that a little bit. We're not sure exactly what the next thing to do is. There isn't another Mass Effect game planned for some time. They've mentioned this. I think it's not for another few years. So we're continuing to, we're going to take it nice and slow. We were talking about maybe the scientist sort of look, because there's a lot of like cool looks on that side of things.
Yeah, Morden's suit really fits that.
Yeah, and then there's like the scientist like coats and the thing which there's the thing that has that like cut out in the front and the back, which looks weird, but it has this nice like arc. It's actually where the arc on our N7 jacket is sort of inspired by, partly from the logo, but also from like those outfits that have that pool.
Yeah.
Which actually don't have any real sense of how the closure works on those, but that's a different problem.
Video game problems. Yeah.
I was also looking at the Admiral's like blues, which are also very cool looking, but have very, very awkward closure system. But it would be cool.
Segue alert. Speaking of blue, what's up with the fabric? The color?
Yep.
Turium blue.
So
I know there's a little bit of a story there about the choosing of the color.
yeah, we had a couple of different options. The design of this is kind of more on the Mass Effect 3 Garrus, like especially this, like with the way the collar is designed, but the blue armor is more iconic. So we were talking back and forth with BioWare about what colors to do, and I had like a silver one and a dark blue one, and then this like medium blue. And this color is just so beautiful. Everybody was like stunned by it. So
I will say, I did my best to try to color correct it. The color on the stream is probably the color on the stream is probably cooler than what this color actually is. So this has warm undertones. Not quite like I wouldn't call it quite like a turquoise or a teal, but it definitely trends a little more green, warm undertones.
Aqua?
Yeah, kind of so whenever if this makes any sense to anyone, when you adjust it in Photoshop or Lightroom, cyan is the undertone. So it's not blue, it's a different color a little bit.
Yeah.
But depending on the lighting, like if you've got a really warm light, it looks a little more greener, but in like the mornings and evenings, it looks blue. Yeah. So it really changes how it looks based on the time of day. Or
when we buy it from the supplier, it's called Moroccan blue.
Okay.
Which it's kind of gives you that, I don't know, somehow it's evocative of the correct color.
Yeah.
The original prototype had a 3-color blocking system where it was like, because I was trying to get like, he's got black parts and gray parts and then blue accents and then little lights and stuff all over it. So I was like, how do I get all of that stuff without having a jacket that is like one of our most complex jackets of all time? And when I tried it with the 3 colors, and it just looked costumey, especially with the giant collar and like the way it was designed, it just felt cheap somehow.
The original prototype was black, gray, and white, or black and silver. Or...
black, gray, and white, because that's what we had on hand.
Mm-hmm.
But it also just felt like breaking it down in that way felt. It didn't feel as sophisticated. So simplifying it down into like blue with white accents, I felt like it just looks really sharp. It looks like a ski jacket. It kind of has. It's just really different from what we've done before.
Yeah.
While still having very clear Garrus inspiration.
Yeah. I think definitely if you kind of like wear the collar up and button it, it definitely looks very. People could tell what it is. I think.
Yeah, I mentioned yesterday on our Discord that besides the drain and the giant collar, which were feats of engineering, I'm also really proud of the way these pockets came out. Because they have just a little bit of 3-dimensionality. There's like a little bit of a cargo pocket thing going on, but it still looks flush. It adds to the sort of bulky vibe, and it also makes it so you put your hands in, there's plenty of space for them.
The pockets are also fleece lined too.
Yeah.
So they're like warm inside, like the AZ2 as well. Any other questions from viewers?
Well, I was wondering this is a licensed product for BioWare, correct? Yeah. How do licensed products affect colorways at all? Is that?
Yeah, someone asked about the possibility of doing it in different colors, but there's a process to that.
There is a process. We have to communicate with the team. They have to feel like it's appropriate for the character or the IP, and we have to talk about what options we have. There's a bit of a back and forth because like we're not custom dyeing all this material, so we have to choose from stock colors. And also so we talked about some other color options, but this was the one that they liked and they felt like was they were really comfortable with, especially for their first run. Sometimes with licensors, the second and third runs, when we start getting into a product that's really successful and we can be like, we'd like to do a different color for fun.
Yeah.
Then they feel like we've done justice to the IP and the character, and we can like start to play a little bit. Alternate colors that you would sell as DLC if it was a video game, like that kind of thing. But the primary color they want people to associate with the first thing.
Yeah, I mean it's called Turian blue as well.
Yeah.
Like they're probably gonna want it to be, pretty close to.
Someone on Instagram asked if you could show how it looks sitting down.
Sure, it's got a double zipper, so it zips up from the bottom, which definitely helps. Yeah, do we have a chair in here? You want to grab that chair right there, maybe? Okay, that's definitely.
Looks like that's it now.
We're not doing that.
This is not a super tall chair, but or a super like this is a little bit taller than normal.
So even if I don't unzip it,
Yeah, so the men's cut and the women's cut differs a little bit on the bottom. Leslie's gonna put on the Kirby cut, but they do generally have. So they both have the two-way zipper or separating zipper. Two-way. So the two-way zipper, so you can zip up from the bottom as far as you need to when you're sitting. But like David was saying, they also have a little bit of room below the zipper on the men's. The women's cut a little less so.
quite less so. It goes all the way down.
Yeah, it goes all the way down to the bottom. So
Yes, is this material stretchier or less stretchy than the N7 jacket?
stretchy. So it's
Yeah, it's a little more stretchy than the N7, the waterproof.
Yeah.
Do you want to hop on? Hello, this is Leslie.
Hello, I'm Leslie.
You've all seen Leslie, probably.
We've all seen Leslie.
Maybe.
And here I am again. If I can give my recommendation for those of you buying the curvy cut, I would wear it as a dress with some cute boots. That's what I would do. I would nothing underneath, shorts underneath, but I would wear it as a dress with some cute boots. That's what I would do.
On the cold days.
On the cold days.
Yeah.
Oh, some leggings under this, and like a heeled boot. Cute, too cute.
Yeah, that's actually why we put the zipper all the way down to the bottom. Leslie was
I insisted.
insisted on that particular detail, and I was like, well, I don't think I need to do that for men. We're not going to be like little shorts and some boots.
Well, it was just long enough, especially on me, I'm so short. It was just long enough that I was like, I wouldn't wear any pants under this. I really wouldn't. I need it to zip down because this is a cute little dress all on its own.
Cute little waterproof parka.
A cute little waterproof dress. I didn't even notice that the men's doesn't have that.
Oh wow.
The women's goes all the way down and the men's pattern does not.
Yeah.
But you can zip the women's up from the bottom.
Of course. Yeah. As always.
Do these coats, do they both have inside pockets too?
Of course.
Of course. Come on.
Outside pockets, inside pockets.
With a different accent color as well.
Oh yeah.
Just for fun.
So pop.
All right, thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
All right, let me hop back on. So I've got the N7 on.
Yeah.
Which just to kind of show off the fabric is a little bit different. This is not insulated or fleece lined, and this is. So it changes the texture a little bit. It is a little stretchier. If you have an N7 jacket, it's 10% stretchier. It's a little bit stretchier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fleece, it just feels a little pushier.
Yeah.
It's you know when you're moving around, it kind of like squishes.
Yeah.
When you're pushing against the sort of outer limits of it.
Yeah, and the N7 Spectre doesn't, which it's I guess some people will like one better or the other, but generally, so they both have the same level of waterproofness.
Yeah, they both have the TPU membrane that is laminated between two layers of material. The outside layer is a nylon. The inside layer on the Spectre is just like a mesh, just so that there's some, a sandwich, something to sandwich with. The inside layer of the material is that fleece, which is the same as our Augmentation 4 Storm and our new Starfleet jacket.
Will you go fill a cup up with water for me, please?
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask.
Do a little demonstration.
Tea, if we'd rather.
And that's not used to tea. Yeah. So, what else? What haven't we covered?
So people were asking about sizing, whether to size up or not. This is the 41. Historically, I would be wearing a 39, but that's not where I'm at right now. So I'm currently wearing a 41 in every.
Is that better? Sorry,
In every jacket.
told to move over like constantly.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta get close. Y'all gotta love each other.
Yeah. So, but you wouldn't recommend sizing up if you know your Volante size.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I feel comfortable like this. Most of my sweaters are pretty lightweight, so if I was wearing a bulky sweater underneath it, I might feel a little bit restricted, but not a lot. There's plenty of room. But I did grab a 43 and a 39 to sort of show the differences. Like I can still put on a 39 in this, which I can't do in some of our other jackets. You want to pour that on me?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a little razzmatazz here. So,
Talk about that drain.
yeah. So can we see this in the?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug up the drain hole with my arm. Lean back a little bit so that it doesn't all go. Yeah, like your whole body back. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna fill this up. Oh god! Oh god! It's not working. It drains too much. Let me try it again. All right, so we've got the drain filled, and then I'm going to.
Yeah.
There we go. That worked. You want to turn back around? It's still dripping. You can kind of see the. See it. Ta-da! Abby brought paper towels. Thankfully. Thank you. Yeah. So not is it waterproof, but it will not fill up with water or, cause any kind of horrific accidents or. It did snow here the other day as well, and it does a pretty good job of repelling the snow as well. So.
Okay, we've got one more question. Does the women's cut have smaller arm openings compared to the men's cut the same size?
Yes. This is a 43. It definitely feels bigger.
Yeah, it's a little bulkier. So if you do prefer like an outer layer, if you wanted it to fit more like a parka you might get from Lands' End or LL Bean or something, yeah. This is probably, a size up is probably going to be closer to that.
Feels
Like
enormous on me though.
yeah, it does. And it looks a little big, but like if you're always planning to wear it with like a bulky sweater, you would probably, it would certainly, even in the deepest, darkest parts of winter, you wear a t-shirt and a jacket on top of it. So.
Yeah. That's right.
For people out there who want to insulate,
Probably don't need the 39 as an example.
it's a 39.
Somebody on Instagram asked, will there be a black one? No, but the AC2 does exist, right? So there is
Black and white.
black and white.
There's no plans for a black one currently. Maybe in the future, like David was saying, there might be some more leeway if this is a popular product. And thus far, it seems to be pretty popular, which is great. It's available now, we said earlier. There might be different colors, including black, but
Yeah, there might be. I wouldn't guarantee at all.
Yeah.
And that's part of, like, we know we just launched the AC2 and we were talking about that a lot, about like having two products that are basically constructed pretty similarly. AC2 has the additional pockets on the chest. It's got the removable hood. It's obviously a different style. But they're also, in my mind, set apart by their, like, this fifth color that doesn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's the black, black coat is there, gray coat is there, that sort of desaturated option, and then obviously this is
not
that.
That's the 39, so it's a little bit more snug than the last.
It is a little more snug. I probably wouldn't wear a 39 right now. I mean, I'm comfortable, but I wouldn't take home a 39.
Yeah.
Sure. Just because I will probably wear at least one sweater this winter.
Fair. All right. Any other questions, comments? All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. Thank you, David, for stopping by. That doesn't make sense. You were already at work. Garrus Parka is available now. It is online, $5.95. It'll ship tomorrow. Probably.
Yep, they're all in stock. They're ready to go.
Yep, we've got a rack of them. If you're on our email, so if you guys have been following us for a while, you've probably seen like 20 teasers at this point. There, in the last email, I actually showed the rack that they're on, and we've got a decent amount of them. So, but with that being said, we do stock like 11 different sizes in each cut. So, at most, I think we have maybe like 6 or 8 of any one size. So it's definitely something that if you want to secure your size, especially if you're maybe a little smaller or a little bit larger than kind of those middle sizes. Yeah. All right.
Thanks for joining us.
See you guys later.
See you soon.
Bye. Abby's got to turn off all the devices.
All right, we're off TikTok, we're off Instagram,
Bye, Instagram.
and we're off